Dr. Indu Shahani is a revolutionary figure in the field of education. She's been a founder and has been in this field of education for over 20 years now with HR College. She was the sheriff of Mumbai, and now we are here today at Atlas SkillTech University, where I'm fortunate to be a student. Thank you, ma'am, for doing this with us. We are Team Mushak. This is the Bak Bak show, and I have here sitting with me Dr. Indu Shahani herself. How do you feel today? How are you doing?
I feel great. First of all, I must say that while we've created the university is really Maharashtra state's first private university, which is a skill tech university. And it's a university created by the Skills and Entrepreneurship and Employment Department. And I feel it's really amazing because, first of all, I'm very excited that the techies over here in my institute, the Mushak gang, who's been working very hard and ignoring me all this time, has actually found time to talk to me. So I'm very proud because I come from a commerce background, but today to have my students from the technology field of education, from design, from law, all around me, couldn't get better.
I think we just didn't want to disturb you. You've got a busy schedule, or we don't want to, just like be more of a hassle than,
Thank you. But I love being disturbed by my students.
100%. Okay, so this is basically a raw, somewhat unfiltered conversation. We're just going to be talking about stuff, some serious questions, some quite lighthearted, and some extremely silly,
Sure.
some that might end up get me rusticated and have a interesting phone call with my parents about my insolent behavior and all. But let's hope
And
it
it'll
doesn't
be
get to
on
that.
camera, so don't worry.
Yeah, no. So Indu ma'am has gone full 360 circles. She was my dad's principal as well, and now she's mine as well. And you know what? Let's actually get started. So most people spend their lives trying to master one world, but you seem to have somehow mastered two of them. From corporate boardrooms with massive companies like HSBC, Colgate, to students and hallways full of Gen Z students. My question to you is, which do you find more difficult to manage? Is it the students? Is it these corporate guys? Who's more difficult?
So I would say that I think when it comes to mastering, I'm not sure about whether I've mastered, but coming to get exposure. First, I think the most important world that you start working with is your family.
Yeah.
With the family that you're born in, the family you get married in. I was very fortunate. I had a very, very supportive husband and an extremely supportive family, even till today, who is, with me in everything I do. So I think that's been one part. And then getting into education. And then from education, getting into the world of, you know, advisory boards and the corporate boards. I must say I was very nervous initially because I used to study a lot and get into the board. Then I realized that being an educationist, being somebody who's been working with students and the younger generation, I was able to bring a very different perspective to the boards.
Okay.
I didn't need to be, a master in the at the audit committee or be a master with the board committees. I was very good with the CSR committee. I helped companies to direct their CSR to the right into the right direction. Then also working with people, we talked and bringing the younger generation's viewpoint into the boards. So I think that is the part I've enjoyed the most. I worked on various boards, right from Diageo, alcoholic company, to spirits company, to working with Colgate, then working with Bajaj Electricals, then currently working with Philips India, and also on many educational boards. And my very first board was Indian Oil. And I was like just out of college into the teaching profession, and I was invited on the board and the first woman on the board there.
Wow,
Very,
that's
very
nice.
exciting times for me. But that's when I really understood what boards are about. And that has helped me to bring And so my PhD was in industry academia interaction. And that's when I actually brought in the corporate knowledge to the schools and to the colleges, inviting people to speak here, inviting people to interact with my student, bringing in live projects. I think that has been the most important learning for me from the boards.
Wow, like your experiences everywhere, it really shows in, the things you've done, lately as well. Like that's wonderful. Uh, onto a more lighter-hearted note, when you wake up in the morning, what is the first five things that you see on your phone? What are the first five notifications just bombard you on your screen?
So, the first notification is always from my chief of staff, Shipra, who's always sending me one, two, three, four, five, six messages.
Shout out Shipra ma'am.
And before she before I even look at the second or third one, another one has come up, and then everything is done. And then I say, oh my gosh, go slow, go slow, I've just got up, I'm just brushing my teeth, and there are voicemails and there is all this. So that's the first one. At least it puts me right on top. It makes me feel that I know how my day is going to be. And then I look at, we have many interesting, we have all these four different schools. So they've always put up something interesting that has happened in that part of the college yesterday or the day before, and all that is coming up. And then I love to see the students. I get into Instagrams, and I follow all my students, and I love that because that's reality for me.
That's really sweet. It means a lot to us. Okay, this one's a little more personal and sillier. When the boardroom lights go off, when you're out of this office, when you're on the way home, uh, what do you do in that 1 hour of free time? What is your, do you watch a movie? What if you were watching a movie, what would it be? Is it a documentary? Is it an old school classic, a little Bollywood, or, an episode of, I don't know, The Crown? What is your,
I used to watch a lot of Netflix.
okay,
I don't know how, but now I've gotten to watching some plays,
okay.
and I'm watching some of these, and that's what I would like to do. I don't think a lot of people, uh, support me just watching a play which probably is not made in India, but I love watching that.
Any interesting ones you've seen lately?
Yes, I have, but I'm not going to give the names.
Okay, the next one. If you were, okay, you've woken up at 11 p.m. at night, you're just like, I'm hungry as hell now. What are you gonna go eat? Is it midnight Maggie? Do you, raid the, chips packets? Or is it like, are you a sweet tooth? Like, what do you?
So definitely a sweet tooth. Um, I keep it in my drawer. I have some, wonderful chocolates that I keep because I do feel that I want to binge in the middle of the night, and I do binge.
You and me both. Actually, in fact, if you keep like a single tub of ice cream in my freezer, even if you write like my name on it or whatever, I'm telling you, within 15 minutes it's wiped out. I'll go, take a walk around anywhere. It's gone by the end of it. My family's just like that. But okay, what about your music taste? Like, you're on the car ride back home. Is it ghazals? Is it
No,
Bollywood
so
music? What do you
I
listen
I
to?
was into all kinds of music,
Okay,
but my husband was into old Hindi music.
okay.
And so you know, got influenced by him. I listened to a lot of old singers. And every Sunday, there is an evening uh, online music session. There are some wonderful ladies and men who actually sing, and they bring in different themes. Like we just finished Mohammad Rafi, and the next one that's coming up is, I think, we finished Lata Mangeshkar also, and now some more. Every Sunday is a theme, and then songs from that. Though I don't sing, I listen to all of them,
That's
and I
wonderful.
really enjoy them. And I think I was educated into uh, deeply into this music by my husband, who would even talk about Sahir Ludhianvi and what his singing, what his writing of songs really meant and the depth that it had. I never realized all this till I heard this music and he educated me.
I haven't really explored a lot of the music that you talked about right now, but just after hearing you, talk about, I think I might take a deep dive into it. But thank you for that. Uh, but okay, after let's say 5 hours of meetings and work, what is that one guilty pleasure that you have?
Um, Sachika, my lovely young lady who
Shout
sits
out Sachika,
outside
ma'am.
my office, she will get me. I'll tell her, Sachika, I want something nice to eat to just get relaxed and get out of the day's work. And yesterday she got me a bagel with cheese cream and a nice oatmeal coffee. That's it. So I've got a Sachika who is always there to give me what I want.
That's so nice. Shout out Sachika, ma'am, one more time. Okay, now this round, this is a rapid fire. So I'm going to give you about, like, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds to answer each of them, and just one word you have to say.
Yeah.
No explanations, no nothing. Okay. Got it? No thinking, just whatever the first word that comes to your mind. Students sleeping in the front row of class.
Love them.
Uh, Future of AI in classrooms.
Brilliant.
Mumbai traffic at 6 p.m.
Love the honking.
10-page email that could have been a text.
Oh my gosh. Could never have. Impossible.
Uh, Atlas's vibes on a Monday morning.
Bright, sparkly, and uh, very positive.
The feeling after a successful board meeting.
I made it.
One trait that a CEO and a freshman both share.
Will I make it?
That's a good one, actually. First thing you do when you wake up.
Listen to Hanuman Chalisa.
Uh, Secret to staying energetic at 6 p.m.
Work.
I mean, that is a good motivator. I agree. Handwritten notes or typing on an iPad.
Handwritten notes.
100%. Who is harder to negotiate with? A multinational bank or a student who has 2% attendance?
Definitely a student who has 2%
They do
attendance.
honestly anything for attendance, don't they? Uh, what is something unglamorous about your time when you were sheriff of Mumbai that would shock people?
The first thing I did was to go to the jails.
Okay.
Yeah, because the sheriff's role is also related to keeping up to see that the jails are maintained well. And I took a group of students and I went there, and that was our first project, uh, which we went in, and people said, "But you sure you want to expose the students to, uh, the inmates in the jail?" And I said, "It's very important for students." And in fact, the students got so motivated that they did a skilling program for the inmates in the
That's
jail.
wonderful.
And still remember the jailer and many people asking me to do this in the other jails also, soon after I stopped being the sheriff after 2 years. And some of my students continued doing that. So
That's
that
amazing.
was
Yeah.
one thing. And the second, I think the most interesting thing I did was I used to miss the sparrows a lot.
Okay.
And if you look around
You don't see
today,
them around
you
very
don't see
much,
them.
no.
And when I became the sheriff, that was one of the first things I did with people who knew more about, nature and birds, to see how do we feed the sparrow so that the sparrow still remains.
Yeah. You don't see them around too
No, I
much. Yeah, that's
don't.
actually quite sad.
So it's strange, but these are the two first things. Then, of course, I did a lot of programs with uh, Clean Mumbai, Green Mumbai. I had the sheriff's uh, teams, sheriff's brigades, and I was able to work with all the students and work with faculty. And I took a lot of delegations to the US, Australia, and England to for principals and teachers s- because a sheriff's delegation was always welcomed. And so they got exposure.
That's actually incredible. Nice. Thank you. Okay, so have you seen the Wired autocomplete interviews on YouTube by any chance? Has it?
Not really.
Okay, so basically, when you type something into Google, it basically shows you a list of recommendations, and we've tried to mimic that same thing over here. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna peel one off, and then that's the question that you have to answer.
Okay.
We'll read out the question in case it's not visible over here. Okay, what happens if you're late to Indu ma'am meeting?
Indu ma'am herself may be late.
Okay, what is the secret behind Indu ma'am's iconic sari collection? I think
This
everyone
is
wants
what
to
I
know
would
that.
like to speak about, definitely. So I got married and I got a few saris, and I came to a married life where my husband was an engineer, and IIT Kanpur, and engineer, and getting into the pharma companies, and all the important companies. And suddenly he said one day that I'm going to buy a sari for you. And that was it. For 47 years, he bought every sari for me. And I just don't know from where he would find that sari, but I carried it.
That's wonderful. Okay, next one is okay. This has come off already. What is one thing Indu ma'am always has in her handbag?
Um, a cough syrup, a cough lozenge, because I have to speak all the time. So I keep that.
Makes sense. That's quite practical. Okay, the next one. If you had to describe Team Mushak in one word,
Brilliant. Um, Unfathomable. And I would say wishing them all the best luck.
thank you so much. Shout out Team Mushak, guys. Okay, next question. Is Indu ma'am powered by 10 cups of chai or pure Mumbai hustle?
2 cups of tea, 2 cups of coffee, and of course, a lot of hustle of my students, not the Mumbai hustle, students.
Who is Indu ma'am's role model?
Currently, it's my son Siddharth. Uh, I'm so happy to see that he has emulated his father a lot in many ways. And he has the energy that I think I'm able to infuse in him. And I'm happy to have lived this beautiful life with both of them.
That's really sweet. Thank you so much. That's actually incredible. Nice. Thank you. Um, okay. Now you have conversations with, I'm assuming, hundreds of people each day. Uh, some of them students, some of them corporates, etc. What is a piece of advice that a student actually gave you that actually worked?
I think the students have given me lots of pieces of advice, but I'm going to try and remember one young man who once walked into my office and closed all the lights. And I said, how could you do this to me? I'm the principal and I'm sitting, this was in HR college. And the young man said, I want to sensitize you that after sunset, there is no light in so many villages. And see how uncomfortable you feel for 5 minutes when the lights are shut. And I thought, what a lesson. And I said, what do you want to do? He said, I want to take solar panels to the villages. And then HR College did a huge program of that. But these are the kind of lessons and things that I've learned from my students who've been doing unique things, but I was never exposed to it. But I'm so lucky I was. And there was another young man who once came to me, gave up his investment banking job to tell me that thank you for educating me. Thank you for giving me this brilliant job. I'm not taking it. And I said, why? He's saying, I'm going to start a charitable institution. And I said, what's that? And he said, I'm starting a courier service in those days, which employs only the dumb and the deaf. And did very well. So, I think my students have been my guides, and there's been reverse mentoring very often.
I honestly have no reaction. This is incredible. Like, I mean, you hear all these not so nice things happening over, then you hear things like this, and it just makes you feel like, there is still hope, for everything.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Now I'm going to move on to our last question. This is a real ticker. Uh, we often talk about building a brand or, getting the perfect job, but out of the thousands of students that you've mentored in your time, what is this one negotiable trait that that you would say that would survive years to come?
Just one word: humility. I feel humility is most important. If you remain humble, you I think you get your life ahead so well. You remain happy, others remain happy. Say, for example, I come in here and, uh, somebody who's walked in, a student, and I've got a very important meeting. And then I say to myself, no, I think the student is important. Let me see what it is. And I really try and bring that humility in myself to be able to control my anger at that time. And or at a restaurant, the food doesn't come right. Or last evening, I got the wrong brochure and I threw it. And then I said, why did I throw it? I should, I have to. Humility is something I'm learning, and I'm still learning.
Thank you. It really shows. Like, I think you're a very humble person. Yes. Thank you so much for your time over here. I think that's a wrap, guys. I think we're done for today. And
Thank you so much. First of all, let me say, Mushak, wish you all the best. I'm very, very happy. Mushak is going to NASA. And I mean, that was a dream. We only read about it. We grew up only reading about it. And here today, my students are going there.
it still feels surreal, honestly. I don't believe in myself, even though I'm part of it day in, day out, working towards it. And yeah, thank you so much, honestly.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Mushak team.
Yes, thank you so much.